視聴者の提案をいただいてありがとうございます。今回の解説動画についてバス30を説明します。将来地下鉄開業のため区間廃止になっちゃうかもしれない。区間廃止の恐れがある。So I've actually made a video about this topic like a while ago, but today I'm just gonna summarize it and probably explain some things that I did not manage to explain in the previous video. So Service 30, a little bit of history. It was from Keppel Road. This one is this is the section that it parallels AYE, and then this is ECP in the past. Okay, so before ECP was actually constructed, Service 30 actually went via Anson, Robinson, and then Esplanade Drive, St. Andrews, Connaught, and then Nicole Highway. Something along those lines. And basically after ECP opened, it no longer went here and it went ECP. And then in 2013, MCE opened, so it went via MCE instead. And just to continue, in the past it was like Nicole Highway, Mountbatten Road, Old Airport Road, Tanjong Katong Road, and then Sims Avenue. And during the Circle Line construction, it was like Geylang Road, Paya Lebar Road, and Sims Avenue. And yeah, this is like Geylang Road in the other direction. But when it got amended to ECP, so it was like ECP, Fort Road, Mountbatten Road, and then it just continued. So if you ever think like this section feels a little weird, that's the reason why. It used to go via Nicole Highway. And then now for the big picture, I'm just gonna attempt to explain this. Okay, so Service 30, it starts from Boon Lay, and then it goes to, I would just say, Corporation. So unlike 178, which goes straight, this one actually goes inside Corporation Drive. So it's kind of like this, and then it serves Teban Garden, and then it goes on to West Coast, Pasir Panjang, Harbourfront, and let's just say MC, ECP, Tanjong Rhu, not really inside Tanjong Rhu, but more of like Fort Road. And then it goes on to Dunman, and then I think I'll just say East-West Line to Bedok. So I'm just gonna explain part by part like the different purposes of Service 30. So one of them is basically allowing you to skip a little bit of Circle Line, because it's like, you know, from Changi Road, if you want to access East-West Line, it's kind of inconvenient. You have to like walk all the way to either like Kembangan, Eunos, or even like Paya Lebar if you're coming from like I think Geylang Road or Changi Road. Yeah, if you're coming from there, then it's quite a hassle to take the MRT. So that's why it is good for people along East-West Line. They're trying to get to like Dunman. I mean, that's one. And it's also the only service to connect Dunman to like Fort Road, because no other bus service does this other than like 401, which operates only during weekends, and it doesn't even operate full day. That service only operates like, I think, is it like 2 p.m. from Saturdays and like 10 a.m. from Sundays or something along those lines, and then it operates till evening. So when there is no 401, you can only rely on like service 30. But then the one thing that's like the kind of the selling point of service 30 is how fast it is. Basically, if you want to reach Harbourfront from like Dunman or Bedok, then you can take service 30 all the way straight direct to Harbourfront. Like you got Vivo City, you got Siam, did I even say that right? Siam Food Center. And then you can also connect to like the southernmost part of Alexandra Road. It's basically kind of like an innovation district, and then it also goes to West Coast Residential Estate and Teban Garden Residential Estate, as well as Corporation Road and Drive. So it's like the west part of the route is mostly like residential, and then you have Alexandra Road, which is kind of like where people go to work, and then Harbourfront is more or less like a mini shopping district, if you would say, and also the gateway to like Sentosa. And yeah, so not only is it a residential service as well as a commuter service to work, it also is kind of a decent option if you want to travel long distance from like let's say West Coast to Dunman or along East West Line, I would say. And then there is this like one part which is like kind of unsettling, which is like because when you talk about like MRT rationalization, you would often talk about service 10, like being cut to like say Harbourfront or like Shenton Way. I don't know which is gonna be the case, but usually you would think of service 10, but service 30 it's like I was kind of shocked when I found out that service 30 is like even being considered for rationalization. And when I mean rationalization, I don't necessarily mean just like, uh, I don't necessarily mean just like a route cut. It doesn't necessarily always have to be a route cut. It can be just a drop in frequency or like, going on time adherence or OTA in short. So, that's kind of like the two things that comes to mind when you're talking about bus rationalization. And in any case, after CCL 6, realistically speaking, I think only this is gonna happen. But if you're talking about route cut, like I don't even see like a good place to like cut the route, because if you go back to around here, you definitely cannot touch like the expressway sector. The most you could do is probably, I guess something along the lines of like splitting the bus service into two at Harbourfront, provided there's like enough parking space. Because like, how do I even put it? Kent Ridge is like, I don't even know if there's space at like, Kent Ridge to be able to accommodate a new service. So it's like you have one Bedok to Kent Ridge, and then you have another one from like Boon Lay to Harbourfront. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to like split both halves to terminate at Harbourfront. You can have one at Kent Ridge and then another one at Harbourfront. It can also work like that. And the reason why I said these is because like Taman Jurong Bus Terminal, obviously that one's temporary. It has already closed, so you cannot terminate there. And then Teban Gardens, Teban Garden, like there used to be a terminal there, but right now there's none. So the only place you can send it to is Jurong East, which again doesn't really make a lot of sense because there's already 51, 143, and 143M. So yeah, the only places you can put it are Kent Ridge and Harbourfront, and it just makes no sense to put it anywhere else, even to like let's say Geylang Lorong 1. That doesn't make sense at all because the Dunman connection is quite vital. And the other reason, which is like, okay, let's say you have Cantonment, and then you have Prince Edward Road. You also have Bayfront and Nickel Highway. So this is basically Circle Line 6 kind of thing. And then you also have like Fort Road, and then you have Harbourfront. So the thing about Circle Line 6 is that it is meant to cater towards like, you know, office workers and people going to like Bayfront kind of thing. But Service 30 has like a different purpose. How do I say it? It's like a very quick expressway service that doesn't even touch Prince Edward Road, doesn't even touch Bayfront. It's basically meant to be a fast like funnel from Harbourfront to like the eastmost part of like Tanjong Rhu, or you might even say Katong Park. I forgot where Katong Park MRT station is, but basically Fort Road in particular doesn't really have any good access to MRT because Thomson East Coast Line, yes, it goes Marina Bay, but it doesn't go Bayfront directly, it doesn't go Prince Edward Road. And yeah, it's kind of a hassle to transfer. So if you have Service 30, like there is nothing wrong with this bus service existing. And then the other reason why is because, okay, 30 is a parent service, and then there is a 30E as well. Yes, this thing runs like single deckers because it just doesn't really have like a whole lot of demand, especially in the evening peak. But for the morning peak, it's like there are lots of people who rely on like the first bus to get to their workplaces fast. So what I mean is that they can be coming from Bedok, they can also be coming from Eunos, they also can be coming from Paya Lebar, Dunman, basically like the entire Old Airport Road, that residential area. These people, they need like a fast access to Harbourfront as well as Harbour Drive, like that general area near Pasir Panjang, as well as like Kent Ridge. That's the border of not the border, that's like the terminating point of Service 30E. And if you want to go further west, you have to transfer to another bus. But you have to take into consideration that this is all like early morning. They need 30E to like skip as many stops as possible so that they can get to like the western side of Singapore like fast. So it's like this is basically where all the working commuters are like located at. There are retail workers in Vivo City. I know the shops don't necessarily open that early, but it's like sometimes people just want to get there early. Or even like Sentosa workers. I don't know how they get inside Sentosa, if they walk or they take a bus or anything, but you know, people need to get to their workplaces early. Oh, and one more thing also, Alexandra. So this is 30E. 30E is like kind of functioning as a pseudo CDS, not a real CDS, but it serves an innovation district, basically where people work. As well as Harbour Drive, you got like maritime workers. And then Kent Ridge, like if you're studying like near NUS and you just want to access it quickly, and NUS is like quite big. There's even like a part of NUS at, how do you say it, like Heng Mui King Terrace or something along those lines, I guess. And it's not just limited to like the green box over here. Like beyond Kent Ridge, if you want to like transfer to another bus service, say 51 or 143, you can access like, I think it's Pandan Loop. Basically, this is another like industrial area. They would take Service 30E and then they would transfer to another bus to reach the Pandan Loop industrial district, if that's what you call it. So yeah, a fast bus service is like vital for people who want to reach their workplaces on time. And then there's also another one like Waseda Shibuya. It's like Waseda Shibuya Senior High School in Singapore. It's a Japanese school, but it's in Singapore, and it's the same for like the Japanese school, I think secondary, which is located at like West Coast Highway. So if let's say you happen to be studying in like those schools, then service 30 would be 30 or 30E would be convenient for you. I mean, if you take 30E, obviously you gotta transfer, but it's like conceptually speaking, if you're from like the east of Singapore and then you study in those Japanese schools, then yeah, service 30 would be vital for you. And it's kind of also the same thing for like Dunman High School. I forgot where the exact location of it, but judging by its name, it's probably located near Dakota MRT, I think. So for Dakota MRT, let's say you live in the west side of Singapore, and you want to get to Dakota MRT quickly, and you don't really want to take the train. You just want a direct bus ride, like you take service 30's first bus. Not 30E in this context because we're going in the opposite direction, but service 30. If you want to sit on the first bus all the way to Dunman High School, you can do that. And the thing is like, not even Cross Island Line can help you to get to Dakota. You either change to a train at like, Pasir Panjang, Labrador Park, or Harbourfront, or you just take service 30 all the way, cause like, might as well, right? It just depends on people's preferences, and I'm just saying this like kind of like hypothetically, but this is if you're asking me about like how useful service 30 is and why you shouldn't just think of rationalizing it without good reason, this is kind of why. And I hope I have answered your question, I guess. Let me know. Thanks.